Hey there, my name's Ann. I'm with Nurtured Noggins. You know, one thing that new parents are pretty concerned about, and I hear a lot of questions about, is how do you know if your child is getting enough to eat? How do you know if that little baby is taking in enough formula in order to get what they need nutritionally to grow? And so I thought it might be kind of good just to talk about that and put your mind at ease here and let you know what your baby needs exactly so that it gives you some guidelines to follow. So first of all, you know, kind of one way of looking at it is that your stomach is about as big as your fist. And so if you look at your tiny baby's fist, that little hand is about the size of their stomach. So as you can see, they can only hold a teeny little bit at any given time in order to, you know, fill their tummy. If it gets too full, it's just going to come right back up. And so, first of all, your newborn baby has a very tiny stomach. And so we'll look at, you know, how many ounces, what it looks like in a second. But I thought it'd be interesting for you to know also that a baby needs about 2.5, you would take their weight and multiply it by about 2.5 to get the number of ounces that they need per day. And so that would mean that like an 8-pound baby would need about 20 ounces a day of milk or breast milk, formula or breast milk. Formula and breast milk both have an average of around 20 calories an ounce. So that means that an 8-pound baby would need approximately 400 calories a day. And so that's kind of a baseline for you to kind of know about and go on. Of course, if you're nursing, you don't know how many ounces your baby's getting with each nursing. And so you would use some other ways of measuring whether or not they're getting full there. But just to give you an idea of quantities, when your baby is 24 hours old, 1 day old, their stomach, they can only take 1 tablespoon of formula at a time. And so let's look at how much that is. So here is a tablespoon of milk. That's all they can manage at any given feeding. And so that is about 1/2 ounce. And so in order to get, if your baby weighed 8 pounds at birth, they would need to have 20 ounces. So that's a lot of feedings. That means that they're going to need a lot of bottles or a lot of nursings in order to get that. And so this is 1 day. This is 1/2 ounce. And then by 3 days, they need up to 1 ounce. So let's look at what 1 ounce looks like. So there's 1 ounce. So they would need 20 of these throughout the day to get the food that they need. By 8 to 10 days, about 1.5 to 2 ounces. And then from 1 week to 1 month, they need about 24 ounces, 2 to 4 ounces at a time. And then 1 to 3 months, it's 4 to 6 ounces at a time. So every time, if you're making formula bottles, initially, you might just make 1 ounce at a time and see how much they take. And then you might bump it up to 1.5 ounces and then bump it up to 2 ounces. When your baby gets to be, you know, maybe a week or 2 old, go ahead and make 2 ounces. You can always make more and give that to them, but you don't want to overfeed your baby. So as you are feeding your baby, that would be some good parameters to look at as you are considering the amount of formula that you need to buy and prepare in advance or to prepare before you feed them. With newborns, we always want them to determine when they need to be fed. They are not on any schedule initially. They're used to being fed and filled all the time in the womb. And so they have to figure out this whole idea of being full and then their stomach being empty and communicating to you that they need to take it. They have to work out the process of taking in the milk, and that whole latch-on process with nursing takes a little bit of time to work out in the first 10 to 14 days. So cluster feeding is very common with newborns, and then they might go a pretty long stretch and you're thinking, oh no, I need to feed my baby. But it will all even out. It will work out. Probably by the end of the first month, your baby will probably be on a pretty good routine. Not all of them, but a lot of them will be, and you will be able to kind of predict when they'll need to eat. So there you go. Feed your baby when they're hungry in the first well, for always, but in the first, 4 to 6 weeks of life, you want to just really follow them, follow their cues, and learn from them what their body needs. Okay? I hope that helps.